How's it going, everybody? Today we're going to be talking about how to increase your coaching revenue 2 to 300% in the next 90 days. And I'm titling this Confessions of a Marketing Consultant because I'm going to share with you all the tricks I use in the first 90 days of an engagement with a client that make me look like a rock star, make them a lot of money, make them very happy. So you can just implement them in your business and you can make a lot of money and be very happy. So let's jump in. Who's this for? Well, coaches and consultants, obviously. If you're using a leverage group coaching model right now, or you have a membership community like School's made very popular lately, or you're a course creator, and info marketer. Okay? Real quick, my mercifully short bio. I've been at this whole internet marketing thing for just over a decade at this point. I was an early adopter on both Google and Facebook ads. I've had the unbelievable good fortune to work behind the scenes and learn from people like Frank Kern and Grant Cardone. And these days, what I do as a consultant is I just kind of pull back the curtain and share all the tricks that all the eight-figure earning quote unquote gurus are using to scale and dominate their niche. Okay? So let's jump in. First, the challenges that are keeping people from scaling or not realizing the profits that they once were. There's a lot of changes going on right now. Business as usual just isn't working. The market has become more skeptical, more sophisticated, right? People have seen the high ticket offers before. They've seen the run of the mill webinar funnels. Maybe they've bought in a few times. Maybe they were underwhelmed by the experience they had or just straight up got burned. Increased competition has moved in because, hey, it's a great business to be in, of course. And of course, CPMs, cost of advertising on social media platforms, are going nowheres but up. The other thing is good old-fashioned shiny object syndrome, and I'm not judging because I suffer from this all the time as well. And what that leads to is one-off episodic marketing as opposed to what's really scalable, which is an end-to-end acquisition strategy and business model. Now, we're not going to be able to get into the business model so much today, but we're going to get a lot closer to that end-to-end strategy. We'll see. Okay, one step at a time here. All right, so the North Star metric, the most important metric that drives everything, is average lifetime value per customer. So I want you to be looking at the lens of everything we talk about when it comes to marketing, acquisition strategies, and systems through that lens. Because, as Dan Kennedy says, he who can pay the most to acquire a customer will win. And when you have the largest average lifetime value per customer, you can spend the most to acquire. So the formula is this, right? Higher lifetime value plus your acquisition strategy and your business model equals scale. Again, we're not going to go super into end-to-end strategy and business model. In this, we'll have that in upcoming videos. Right now, we're just talking about that first 90 days so that you have the momentum and you have the cash flow to implement the other two pieces here, okay? All right. And I would put here, get paid to get paid and dominate the market. And that's exactly what you end up doing when you follow this formula above. Again, we're going to talk about the first piece of this. Okay, so the first thing I do for my clients, right, is I like to create a large cash injection, and I like to do it very quickly and without having to spend any money on ads, because what that allows me to do is A, make them money, which instills confidence in continuing to invest with me, right? Because everybody's been burned. There's been tons of fly-by-night agencies pop up and promise the world that just don't deliver. Okay, so the most recent example of this, we put together this campaign, and I'll tell you exactly how we did it in a moment for a client who was selling a $3,000 coaching engagement. And what's cool about him is he didn't take any phone calls either. It was just like, here's what it is, here's what it costs, you take it. If he actually did phone calls, he'd probably have a much higher close rate, but that's okay. He got 21 sales over the course of about 5 days, 3K a piece, 63K came in just like that. And that was the second week we started working together. You say he was very happy. All right. So what does something like this look like? Well, he's an established coach. He had a good list, just under 16,000 ish people, right? But it was a bit dormant. It hadn't been nurtured too much, but it wasn't completely dead. So what something like this hinges on is a list or social following. And what you need to do is come up with a killer offer, some kind of deal, right? Some people will throw together a special price. Some people don't like doing that. Some people like bundling. If you buy this, you also get this info product thrown in for free, right? Some people like to add bonuses, of course. Hey, buy this and we'll do, complimentary one-on-one or something along this end, okay? Or the grandfather pricing I put here. A lot of coaches and consultants do this right now. They're saying, hey, the price is going up. This is your last chance to get it at this price. Whatever. It's an offer-driven promotion. Right? And it's time sensitive. So what you're going to do is you're going to put together a series of 5 emails over the course of 4 days, right? And you're going to put together organic posts if you have a good following. And all they're doing is reminding your current followers and subscribers, hey, we got this cool deal and it's going away at midnight on Friday or Saturday or whenever you're going to end it. So it's time sensitive. It creates urgency, it creates scarcity, and it creates a nice little influx of sales, again, to your existing audience. So you're not spending money on ads just yet. Now, most of the time, this is going out to people who inquired that never bought and just need a little kick to get them off the fence and taking action. The other way to do this, you can do this in addition to, is offering a current clientele a premium offer. At any given time, there's probably 20-30% of the people that are paying you a little bit of money right now would gladly pay you a lot of money if you only offered it. Many people aren't doing this, and that's a big part of maximizing lifetime value, which you will get into in depth in later videos, okay? But this is how you create that quick influx of cash in 5 days without spending money. It's a nice kick in the pants. Don't run down to the dealership and buy that G-Wagon just yet. You're going to want to reinvest at least some of that, right? And that is step number 2, what I call the greatest hits campaign. Okay? And what we're really trying to do here is overcome that tactic du jour or that shiny object syndrome here. Because what happens to entrepreneurs is that we are professional problem solvers, and we solve a problem, we immediately get bored with it and create more problems for us to solve. Not good. What most people end up doing is iterating over and over again with their marketing, and by the time they get 6 months, a year down the road, it's become so convoluted they forgot what worked in the first place. And now results are volatile, revenue's volatile, they got overhead now, they're freaking out, right? A lot of this going on right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to sidestep that. We're going to go back and take a look at the last year, 3 years, 5 years. I don't know how long you've been in business. And I want you to find your most profitable quarter. I want you to find your most profitable month. And I want you to find the exact promotion, the exact offer, the exact copy, and the people you were putting it from when that was going on. And then I want you to wipe the slate clean. I want you to dust that bad boy off. I want you to update it and evergreen it. Okay? Again, I did this with the same exact client I was mentioning in the first slide. Again, we're like 4 weeks into working with each other. They were very upset. They had just run a big workshop, spent $300K on ads, and barely broke even. They were not happy. So then we did this little exercise. Let's go find the winner from the past. And he's like, well, this is what we were doing when we were absolutely crushing it. It was very different than what they were currently doing. We said, well, let's go back to that, see how it goes. We'll do a tiny conservative test just in case it blows up in our face. So no harm, no foul. See how it goes, right? Well, instead of spending $300K, they spent $5K, just 5, not 50, 5, right? They did 27 sales, okay, which meant for them $81,000 in contract value, 15 paid in fulls, 12 payment plans, okay, at $250 a month. This is a 12-month program, okay? That meant they collected $45 cash on the front end, right, off of that $5K ad spend, right, and had $3,000 more in recurring revenue coming in over the next 12 months. Now, of course, there might be 1 or 2 of those people that end up dropping off and not making their payments or whatever, but Hey, pretty good return for a 5K ad spend. And yes, they did promote that to their list in organic social as well. So it wasn't entirely just that 5K ad spend. I want to be clear about that because this is a hype-free zone. Okay? So think about how happy you would be if you were in this client's situation, right? You're 4 weeks in, right? This all happened within a month. Internal launch, zero ad spend, nice influx of cash there. And then you finally get your paid acquisition strategy back on track. And you have that peace of mind of knowing, okay, cool, I can spend X and make Y and be very, very profitable while I do it. And then you evergreen that. You say, okay, this works. We're going to rinse and repeat it. We're going to automate it. We're going to make it as light a lift as we possibly can, and we'll start spending more money on it. That's going to give you that nice, steady revenue that you need to invest confidently in more projects that'll take a little bit longer time to roll out, but will ultimately make you a lot more profitable, right? So we're on steady ground here, but we're not done. Now we are going to build a super system, right? AKA the compounding effect of your marketing. And what this is aimed at doing is maximizing ROAS, return on ad spend, and by extension, maximizing your LTV. Again, allowing you to outspend the competition. Now, again, we'll get more into LTV in later videos. I'm just talking about the first 90 days right now. We're going to focus on ROAS. Okay, your long-term nurture is far more important than just your funnel. It really shocks me at how many high-ticket coaches have really been able to over-rely on just a funnel. And maybe they have a 5-day follow-up sequence, but after that, it's gone, right? If they're doing any nurture at all, it's inadequate. And it's no wonder as competition's increased, as price for advertising has gone up, as the market's become more sophisticated, you know, guys were able to see 6, 8, even 10x return on a webinar, and now they're seeing 2, 3x or even a break even, and they're understandably freaking out. Okay, the long-term follow-up sequence is far more important than just the front-end funnel for this basic reason. Only 1 to 3% of any market is ready to buy now. 15% of the people who buy will buy in the next 90 days, and the 85% plus inquiring about a thing today will not buy until sometime within the next year and a half or 18 months. So in order to maximize your return on ad spend, right, you can't just have one bite at the apple or 5 bites at the apple with that 1 week follow-up sequence, okay? You must add value, make offers as often as possible in a way that doesn't diminish goodwill. And we're going to get into, you know, the 3 automations that I like to use for long-term follow-up in subsequent videos. But suffice it to say that you want to be adding value and making offers at least 3 days a week, and probably more like 5, right? And you want to have a multi-channel follow-up system. I'm not just talking about email. That's designed to ask open-ended questions, start conversations with your salespeople or your setters on a consistent basis, on an automated basis, okay? So that your automation has to dovetail with your in-person sales in such a way that where you don't have to rely on your salespeople to be great salespeople and follow up with people relentlessly. You just have that built into the automation. When somebody answers that automation, it then gets kicked over to the team so they can take that over in person, okay? And no, your once weekly podcast, blog post, newsletter is not enough nurture, okay? Again, we'll get into depth on this, but when I work with clients, right, this is why this is third. It takes a little bit longer to build out. I concentrate on building out at least that first 90 days with the intention of building this system out for that year and a half or 18 months, okay? The good thing is if you're an established business owner, you likely have a lot of assets that you can roll right into this already, so it's not like a huge lift, okay? Again, we'll cover that in later videos. So now we can maximize ROAS from the people who don't convert right away on that proven promotion. Now we can look at optimizing what we're already doing. What we're doing is working to an extent. We got consistent cash flow. We're able to scale that cash flow. Now, oftentimes, at this point in the engagement, we're only 60 days in-ish. We call it 6 to 8 weeks. 2 to 3x is a piece of cake. I mean, it's already happened. They're very happy. I've seen people go as much as 5x, but that's best case scenario. Again, I don't like to be too hypey. But then you got to look at your conversion rates, because a lot of people pay a lot of attention to the ads because it's the sexy part. But if you're driving ads towards a less than optimal funnel, you're just paying way too much to acquire a customer, right? So what you do is you just run through the existing ad. You look at click-through rates on the ads, opt-in rates on the page, cart abandonment or booking rate, right? These are just the most common metrics you see in the types of funnels that I look at. They're either call funnels or usually a direct sale of like an info product, right? Low and high ticket, whatever. And all you do is you look at your numbers and see where the numbers fall off a cliff, and you focus your attention there, okay? Click-through rates, usually not super hard these days. Opt-in rates, a little bit harder, but not super hard. It's usually where you have to concentrate on getting people booked or not abandoning the cart. That's usually where I see most people's stuff fall off a cliff. Not always, but usually. So if we concentrate on that, we can dramatically increase the number of people that are converting through the funnel for the same amount of money. Okay? Okay. That one's pretty obvious, I would hope. Then, syndicate and scale, aka take it on the road. Okay? So at this point, we're at that point where we have something that's really, really working, bringing in a lot of money, and then now people are excited and they say, cool, let's create an entirely new thing. No. Okay, again, we have to resist shiny object syndrome. Rule number 1, take what's working and do more of that. Vertical scaling, that's what everybody's familiar with. Hey, increase the budget. Duh. But what surprises me is a lot of people never think about horizontal scaling, aka duplicating across multiple platforms. If you have something working on Meta, why not give it a whirl on TikTok, right? Why not expand to YouTube, right? Why not start working on organic or even SEO, blog posts, things like this, right? I think of it more in the context of paid advertising. So I think, hey, if I'm doing something great on Meta, let's go to TikTok, let's go to YouTube. Why not? And if it applies, you can look at LinkedIn. A ton of people are doing that, though. Okay? That right there can 10x. It's not that hard, right? Oftentimes, you're just going to stick with vertical scaling in the first 90 days, but that horizontal scaling should follow immediately afterwards. Cool. All right, so let's kind of recap and talk about how this fits the big picture strategy, right? What have we done here? Well, we've taken the first step towards maximizing lifetime value. There's a lot more we can do. Again, we'll cover that later. We're better utilizing existing assets quickly and cheaply. I find the vast majority of the time, an established coach, consultant, course creator, membership site owner, whatever, you have all the pieces of the puzzle to scale. They're just not put together strategically in the right order in order to support that goal, right? So, and that's really good news because you don't have to come up with a bunch of new assets. It's not a heavy lift. It's just putting what you already have in a coherent strategy that works for you. Okay, maximizing return on ad spend or ROAS, all right? So we can outspend the competition. Now, we're not quite towards maximizing LTV, so we can completely take over, but if you can maximize ROAS, it's a great shot in the arm and becomes the catalyst that provides the cash flow to do everything else we'll cover in later videos. And of course, vertical horizontal scaling, pretty easy to do. Once you have something that works, you just do more, okay? Now, how does this fit into the whole end-to-end acquisition strategy, right? Where does this first 90 days take us into the future, and how does it fit into a scalable long-term strategy? Well, next steps, and again, we'll cover this in another video, would be leveraging your product suite and your business model, right? Using more advanced advertising techniques, or what I call authority advertising, so that you can elevate your personal brand before you make a sale, which makes selling a whole lot easier, right? And what I like to call, it's probably covering it here, a trifecta funnel approach that gets you paid to get paid, right? And again, that kind of feeds into your product suite and business model. It's essentially a way to liquidate ad costs on the front end so that your core offer is 100% profit, and then creating premium offers in addition to that that become your flagship, your highest ticket, your highest margin, right? So you're making money through every step of the acquisition process, and again, increasing LTV, outspending the competition. Okay. That is what them their 8-figure gurus are doing right now, and that's how they dominate. Okay, do I have anything else for you? I think that's it. Yeah, that might be it. Cool, that's it. So I do videos like this all the time. Like and follow for more. And if you would like to do a live Q&A or go really down the rabbit hole in depth of some of the things I talked about here, along with the other things that I've mentioned, I do a weekly live webinar. I'll throw a link up there, down here, depending on where you're watching this, so you can go jump in on that. It's absolutely free. I think you'll find it extremely valuable if you're an established business owner looking to go to the next level. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.